Hello, my name is Ilona and today is Monday, February 24th, 2025. I just did my Dutch video and I really looked at things concerning the Netherlands and of course what happened in Germany. I'm just going to do a very short recap, but if you want to see that, I'll make sure that the subtitles hopefully are available. It kind of depends on YouTube in processing it, and sometimes they don't get processed, but I hope it will work out this time. And so in this video, I want to take a look at other things than in my Dutch video. But the first thing I mentioned in my Dutch video is that the Pope is not doing very well. He has beginning kidney failure. So he already had problems with pneumonia, I believe, and an asthma attack. And now he has the beginning, at least, of kidney failure. I do believe that this is the end of this. It's the beginning of the end, and I do believe he will be removed from the stage pretty soon, although we don't know. But this is really preparing the public for taking him away, so to speak. So of course most people in this community are quite aware that this probably is not the real Pope anymore, but it doesn't really matter. It's what the public sees, and publicly it needs to be removed. And I think that's going to be a very, very important event with what's going on worldwide, with everything, you know, in this spiritual war. That will be a very important chess move when he falls, just like with the Queen, of course, in Great Britain. When she fell, that was very, very important. So that's interesting. Also, I mentioned that there was an article here in the Netherlands suddenly, and that's fascinating, changing the narrative about Ukraine, that they're not doing very well, which is interesting because last week or the week before that there was an article that the Russians weren't doing very well. So they're kind of flip-flopping around here, but they're now finally starting to admit that Ukraine is not in a good position, and well, obviously they're not going to get a lot of money anymore, not from the States. And here in Europe, a lot of parties, a lot of political parties that are now, you know, starting to come up in certain countries really don't want to have anything to do with it either. So they really are not in a very good position. Of course, they still try to change the narrative from Mr. T that Ukraine started this, because of course not. It was the Russians, and they've got this storyline in that article. Interesting to see. Next thing, of course, is Kash Patel, who's now director of a certain, bureau. It starts with an F, they've got a B, and they've got an I. And now the deputy is going to be Dan Bongino. I think it's Bongino, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And that is going to be very interesting, because we're waiting for those lists, Kash. Where are the lists from Epstein and Diddy? We're waiting. We want to see this. You promised us, so please fulfill your promises. And we're most likely going to see this list pretty soon, and that will be like a shock wave. I'm actually going to take a look at that with the energy as well. What is going to happen with those lists when they finally are going to be revealed? Because we know they're going to be a very interesting name on that, and they really try to cover this up for such a long time. So let's see what the energy is when this will be released. Oh yes, the old are trying to hold on. Four of Pentacles. So they try to hold it off, but this will be a whitehead operation. Queen of Wands, they are in control of this. Of course, the Knight of Swords in the past, I'm sure a lot of celebrities were not happy with this, but this is justice. Justice is being served underneath the Queen of Wands. For the future, it will be very tough for a lot of people. A lot of people. Ten of Wands. Try to explain that one. People are moving away from this. The Chariot. It will be like also a victory on a lot of those celebrities, trying to make them, you know, seem like they're these nice people and they haven't had anything to do with that, and try to distance themselves from all that was happening. And it's going to be come out all these things, and they're not going to be happy. This is going to be a massive just blow to them, obviously, and rightfully so. Let's name them. Let's name them all. They need to, you know, it needs to be shown, and people will react to that. a lot of people are going to be coming out in the open with these names. So this is going to be very interesting. Not just celebrities, I believe also politicians. Of course, with Diddy, there are some politicians connected to that as well. Well, we're moving away from this. It's necessary. People need to see this. People need to know about this. But justice is being served. They tried, then they're trying. They're trying to hold on. And maybe that's why some celebrities already left in the States. Probably a good idea, though. I don't think it's going to matter because you can't outrun justice. Nobody is going to get away with anything. I just want to emphasize that because some people believe that they are in another place or in a certain position that they'll be safe. No one's going to be safe from this. But this is going to be very, maybe even for a lot of people, it could be very shocking as well. So this card goes not only for the people, of course, involved. It's going to be very shocking. They're going to be in a panic. But also for the people first time hearing this, especially you're not aware of the names or the people involved, it could be very shocking that certain people are on there. But this is going to be very, very interesting, but it's necessary. It is necessary. Let's see. The other thing I also take in the Dutch video, I looked at Germany. There have been, of course, voting. I also shared a clip of a video where you saw at least there was someone getting rid of certain votes from a certain right-winged party. We know now that the left side won again, although I'm not sure if they really won. Let's face it, I'm sure they've manipulated and changed things again. And that's what I got from my card reading before this. I think I looked at it last Monday in my life, in my Dutch life. And I already noticed, so we're not going to see any massive change yet, but things will be coming out. This is going to be very important. So I do think things will be coming out of this. And I also taken a look with my cards, and that's also what I got. And could be shocking things, but people need to understand that this has been going on for so long. And also the manipulation. A lot of people in Europe don't believe that they can, they can manipulate things here, but of course that is very capable and they've been doing it for a very long time. So we'll have to wait and see, but I do believe that things will be coming out from that as well. I've looked at it in my Dutch video. And another thing I also taken a look at is in the media in the Netherlands, the connections to a certain journalistic organization. It's called the, let's see, the OCCRP. It's an organization. I'm not sure if I can mention it, but it has to do with corruption reporting project and another C. But it's the OCCRP, and they've gathered a lot of money from the US aid, and of course now they're cutting that, so they're losing that. But these things are coming out in Belgium as well, because there is also a journalist being funded by that. And of course here in the Netherlands. It's very interesting. They were funded by this organization as well. And I actually taken a look at that organization. And there were a lot of interesting things, like the Rockefeller Brothers Fund. They fund this OCCRP. And the Open Society Foundations, that's from Soros, right? George Soros, that one. We've got the Dutch postcode lottery. Interesting enough. That's a lottery here in the Netherlands. They actually say, yeah, your money will be spent on, charity and things like that. But they're actually paying journalists for a certain narrative, because that's coming out now. And of course, because Americans at that moment in time were paying most of it through the US aid, they also made sure that journalists were investigating things from Russia and Venezuela, not looking at things in America. So, and that also influenced here in the Netherlands, because these certain media were paid through this organization as well. And the European Union apparently also pays for this. It's very interesting. Also the US Department of State, the Ministry for Europe and Foreign Affairs of France, and United Kingdom Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office also pays for this. This is just interesting. So this is coming out now here in the Netherlands. Of course, not in the normal media, but this will find its way on X, and it's also coming out in Belgium, and it's all connected. And of course, I also mentioned, couple of years ago that in Germany there was, of course, this scandal of all these journalists being paid by the German government with certain narratives that concerned something that was moving through Europe or through the world at that time, about 5 years ago. Sure, people understand what I'm talking about. And I'm sure that's been happening in the Netherlands as well and in Belgium as well. But it was interesting that that came out in Germany, and now this is coming out. Yes, let's just say that the news is not as independent as they like to think it is. Another thing I also wanted to take a look at in this video is, of course, Russia and Ukraine. I might have taken a look at it last week or the week before that, I'm not sure, but there was so much going on now. I just want to take a look because there were mentions that Russia is going to claim victory, and what is going on there. Also, Mr. Set from the Ukraine actually will drop from being a president if the Ukraine will get NATO membership. That's the same one that forced the country to stop voting. At least there was no voting, so really he isn't really a president to begin with, but this is what he comes up with. Well, let's see what is the energy. Russia and Ukraine. I see. Independent, another way, another path. The Nine of Pentacles. We've got the end, the successful ending of the world. I do believe that this will come to an end. We've got the High Priest, the dark energies in the past. Obviously, that country was very, very dark. We've got the High Priestess. That's, of course, the secrets that need to come out about this. The Three of Swords in the near future, and the Moon. Not everything is what it seems. A lot of painful things are going to come out, but this is the ending. Pretty much with the central card, with the world, and going in a different direction, going in an independent direction. But truths will come out. Veils will be lifted with the High Priestess. And that will be very painful. And some things will come out. I think they'll still try to change the narratives. Like I mentioned with this article here in the Netherlands, that what Mr. T is saying about that the Ukraine started it, that's not true. And they'll still try to change things. But this is really not everything is what it seems. And there's still a lot of pain and hurt. But this is ending. It's already in the ending phase, ending stage. So the other thing I wanted to take a look at is the energy of the United States of America, because there is so much happening there. I can barely keep up, and I just want to see what the energy is now of the United States of America. Let's see. We have the Empress. New energy coming in. We have the Four of Wands. This is bringing people together. I think Americans are really coming together now and starting to really be proud of their own country again. The Three of Wands was in the past. We've got the Emperor. Well, that's pretty much the military in control, and they really are pushing through. And we've got the Empress and the Emperor. So that's a very beautiful pair there. We've got the High Priest in the sort of future, and children. I think this is going to come out, and it's necessary. There's also now focus. I think I've seen it, and I probably shared it on Telegram, that Elon is now also focusing on the foster system and what's been going on there. And of course, those missing children, they're really trying to recover and get them back. So I think a lot of things are happening there. Yes. The dark energies are being exposed, connected to children. And of course, with these lists also coming up, I just mentioned, which is also connected to that, to children. It's going to be very, very important. But like I said, this is beautiful energy. We've got the Empress and the Emperor getting together, connection. People are connecting again. It just feels like a completely different energy now. And like I said, military is in control and they know exactly what they're doing. Bringing in this balance, this new energy. The balance between this pair is so important. And people getting together again, connecting with themselves, with God, with their intuition, with each other. It's so, so important. So this is a very important phase of the United States, and this will have an effect on Europe as well. I also did a card reading for Europe, like what's going on here. Of course, we had another voting, and let's just say the old system is still there. At least the puppets are still in place. And what I got from that card reading is that most likely it's necessary for some chess moves that need to be played here in Europe, because the European Union has to fall apart. I also saw a clip of people in France who wanted to leave the European Union. I think we're going to see that more and more in Europe. But this is really about waking up people here in Europe with all these different countries, obviously. So you have to reach people in a different way. But I also believe in the grand scheme of things, it's necessary. It's all about chess moves and making the right moves and waking up people, and certain puppets have to be in certain positions when things are falling apart. And that's what I was sensing, and got it from the card reading that I was doing, but you can see that in the Dutch video. Hope to see you in another video. Bye.